All right, hello and welcome everybody. J-Man back for some more Nightwish reactions. So we're moving into song number 3, I believe, of the Human Nature album. We're also doing the countdown videos for each song before the song. So we've got Floor introducing Shoemaker for us. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's jump on in. So we've got Nightwish, Shoemaker, Floor telling us about the song.
Still counting down. The release is coming closer and closer. I would like to tell you a bit about the song Shoemaker, third on the album. Not about a man making shoes. It's about Eugene Shoemaker. I can totally recommend you to Google him. He has a very remarkable, beautiful story that inspired Tuomas to write a song about him. And it's a very irregular song, so it doesn't have a very typical structure. It was very tricky to sing once again. The complexity of the melodies and the verses were really wow. Tricky for me. I was properly challenged. And towards the end, where he goes up into the stars, there's a beautiful operatic part that needed to be just right, not too bull or not too thin, and it was, it had to have the right balance, and it's not just a matter of hitting the right notes. It's the total picture had to come together.
I call it my friend Google.
It took a while and a few takes, but then it became one of my personal highlights on the album, that actual last part of that song. So I'm not going to give any more away. Just counting down the days. Stay healthy. We'll be back tomorrow, and soon is the 10th of April for the release of Human Nature. Take care. Bye.
All right. Yeah, that's funny, Ronnie, because whenever, like when I'm at work and we're trying to figure something out, I'm like, let me go ask my friend Google. Google to me is, with the way that my brain works, I am convinced that Google is the greatest invention of my time for me. Now there are other like mechanical inventions that have changed the world, and so don't get me wrong. I'm just talking about in terms of my desire for knowledge. When I was a kid, if you didn't know something, if you didn't know the answer to something, there was literally no way to find it. Short of going down to the library and going through the index files and trying to find the book about that thing that you wanted to know about. And ain't nobody got time for that most of the time. So there were just so many things in our minds that we just didn't know, unless like you had an Encyclopedia Britannica or something at your house where you might be able to look that up there. And my brain needs to know all the stuff. So there were so many things where I must have drove my parents crazy. It's like, mommy, why does this do that? Or why is this that way? Or what is this other thing? And they would just be like, I don't know, son, and it's like, but I need to know, and when Google came out, it's like, now any question that you have, as long as you know how to properly source your resources, and you're not just taking the first link that comes up, you can find the answers and the truth for most any question that you have out there on the internet, and Google is the pathway to that. I love that. So there's my diatribe for this part of the video. Let's go ahead and let's get over to the actual song. I love that they came on and gave us let's see. With special permission, I need to mention that Eugene Shoemaker's remains are actually buried in the moon. It might be nice to keep in mind. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Days. Don't ever apologize for giving information. Yep. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's good to know. So, all right. Let's go ahead. Let's jump on into the song. So we've got Nightwish, Shoemaker, from Human Nature. Let's get it. To the stars.
Now you've been talking. the far on the stellar sea, cut in little stars.
We all wait the June refugee, which is worth the hunting. We've come to join you. Hope revive for a lifetime to rekindle the human spark in love of the night. Now you've been tucked in for eternal horizons wonder. A state of the waves. Soaring our heart, darling, at the earth. Yours is the whole star at the heavens of myriad endings.
Here I came to be, your reach into the far on the stellar sea, cut in little stars.
And when he shall die, take him and cut him out in little stars, and he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with the night and pay no worship to the garish sun.
Chills. Wow. Um, that was super cool. A lot of the lyrics, the poetic style of it. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this a couple of times to really break this one down for myself. I'm glad that you guys gave me the Twitch had kind of told me that this was about Eugene Shoemaker and that he was a planetary geologist and you know that definitely brought the whole thing into more focus for me for sure. The lyrics were were very very poetic, very in places a little cryptic. I'm sure that there was meaning that was completely lost on me. But I'm sure if I dig in on my own a little bit more, we'll definitely get a better understanding. Yeah, I might check out somebody else's understanding. For the most part, I don't like to hear other people's interpretations of songs because I feel like songs are meant to be personal. When a poet writes a poem, here's a great example. When you listen to some of the great lyricists, Lamont, hello, welcome. When you listen to some of the great musical lyricists of time and you ask them to tell you the meaning of their song, they don't want to answer that for you. They want you to figure that out for yourself. And that's, I love that. I love an artist that will say, hey, this is what I did. I'm not going to tell you what I meant by it. You figure that out. You tell me what did you get from that song? What did you understand about the song? Um, well, and I did listen. I did for Poet and the Pendulum. I did pull up the lyrics with one of our viewers had kind of given me their interpretation of some of it. And for that, I think you'll remember that for some of them, I even did like read the line and read what they said and said, yeah, I kind of see it more a little bit this way. Um, but yeah, and I think that Tuomas here, he gave us the idea that this was about this person and kind of pointed us in the right direction, and said, here, this is kind of the overarching idea that I'm talking about. But I don't know if he really did like a solid breakdown of the song, because he talked a little bit in, I want to say that he talked in that the documentary that we watched about his lyrics and how lyrics are personal. I'm remembering him saying something about that. But anyways, that's the way that I see it. And I love artists that, like I said, when they give you a piece of work, it's like, I'm not going to tell you what I really mean. I might tell you what the main idea of it is, but I'm not going to tell you what every verse meant and all of that stuff. Figure that out for yourself, and that's what makes music such a personal thing. I will say, I love that he devoted a song to a planetary scientist, because I went back, little J-Man diatribe. If you're a YouTuber and you're just here for the reaction, you can probably cut it here. I love the song. Song was fantastic. The music was entrancing, and that last bit there with Floor, I just wanted, and I did, just wanted to close my eyes and take it in because it was so beautiful. Magnificent song. But so I when I went to school, when I went to Clemson University, as a going for my bachelor's of science, going for my BS in psychology, part of that was that you had to take two consecutive semesters of a science. It could have been biology or geology. I went for astronomy. And man, it almost made me change my major. I considered for quite a while about changing my major to astronomy, because it was so fascinating. If it wasn't for all of the high level math that was involved, and don't get me wrong, I'm pretty solid at math. I actually tutored at Clemson. I tutored math. So I'm pretty solid in math. But the level of math that you have to go to, for astronomy is, whew, It was way over my head. I'm way too old. If I was younger, if I had gone to college when I was in my late teens, early 20s, um, like most people do, I almost positively probably I'm quite certain I would have went to astronomy. I've always had an interest in the universe and all of that, but that class, man, learning about how basically the my professor for that class, he's an astronomer. He works at the Keck Observatory over in he does a lot of work at the Keck Observatory over in Hawaii, on Mauna Kea, I believe. He actually was mentioned in astronomy journals for discovery of a new star. The guy is a freaking genius, and the way he put that course together, astronomy 1 and 2 that I took, were fan freaking tastic. I mean, I loved it. Just learning about how planets form and stars form, and that when they blow up, they're the ones that scatter the material across the universe that forms into other planets, and bigger planets make more complex um, um, materials and particles and things. I mean, that just amazed me. One of the things that amazed me the most was how we learn about these planets and stars that are so far, mostly stars, planets that are really far away, we can't really see them. Um, but just how we learn what a star is made up of based on the light that it's giving off. That, I don't know if any of you know about that. That, look into that. Look into how when astronomers look at a star, they can tell what the makeup of the star is by the frequency of the light waves that it emits. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. All right, we'll go ahead. We'll cut it here. That was J-Man Science Class 101, Intro to Astronomy. So far today, I've worn the lab coat of doctor. I've worn the dean's vest of the disciplinarian in Twitch chat, and now I've worn the scientific lab coat. So we're on a roll. Yeah, when's the exam? I'll give you a couple of days to prepare, Bert. Um, so yeah, I've also sat on had people sitting on the couch for the therapist role too. So all right. So thank you, YouTube. Thanks for watching. Loving this journey through the new album so far. I understand why everybody's been so stoked and excited to get to this. This is so far mind-blowing. Loving it. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Twitch, for hanging out with me. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you for all that you do and for joining me on this journey, and I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. We got another song coming up after this one. Everybody be good. Peace.